violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's a Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video.
We're now hearing from Kathy Lester. Let's take a listen.
About 2 o'clock in the morning this morning, our officers were in the area here at 10th and K, and they heard shots being fired. They responded to our scene behind me and located a large crowd. They found that multiple people, unfortunately, had been shot, and this is a really tragic situation.
Wow. So we got a mass shooting in Sacramento, 6 dead, 10 injured. Because they have not found any suspects, because they don't know who did this, I'm pretty sure it was some super gremlins on demon time, just like the MO. Drive-by shooting, obviously that's not you know what I'm saying, gliders don't really do that. So there is a narrative that these mass shootings are done by gliders and whatnot. And yeah, we have a lot of examples of that. But then we have the more underreported stories of super gremlins committing these mass shootings. And man, it happens more often than people think. So I'm going to be following this story to figure out who, why, what. Maybe it was a burrito gremlin. I doubt that it was a glider gremlin, but, you know, who knows? At this point, we don't have a suspect. But the way it was done and the amount of casualties, the amount of people hit, the scene, like club 2 a.m., it sounds a lot like some of the stories that we cover on this channel.
We now have confirmed that we had 6 people killed in the area of 10th and K. An additional 10 people were transported or self-transported to area hospitals. So we are asking for the public's help in helping us to identify the suspects in this and provide any information that you can to help us solve this.
We are following some breaking news from the state's capital this morning up in Sacramento. A mass shooting happened around 2 o'clock this morning, and so far several lives have been taken. Getting word right now, at least 6 people have been killed. Police saying that 10 more were wounded. It does appear the shooting happened during a large brawl in the city's downtown neighborhood.
So there you have it. A fight broke out. Honestly, I thought it was somebody like pulled up in a car and then just sprayed it up. But it sounds like a fight broke out and then maybe somebody went back to their car and grabbed the strap. I don't know, but it's just like you're fighting with somebody and then you shoot up the whole crowd. It makes no sense because you're hitting random innocent people.
Just blocks from the Capitol building. We looked at that video earlier, which showed a fight that broke out, and then moments later, multiple shots rang out. Shooting scene covered at least 2 city blocks. Rapid gunfire, as we talked about. As many as 50 rounds were heard.
Dang. So yeah, that definitely, the whole situation sounds like some demon time activities. Okay, because the fight breaks out, then somebody starts shooting. But it is Cali, so there's a high likelihood that it is a burrito gremlin as well. But you know, a lot of times these stories do get exhausting. Not for me, but I know for the listeners that you can be watching these stories and feel some type of way. Like you feel like it's a hopeless, lost cause type thing. And although it seems that way, I think that we still have to continue to try and figure out what can be done, what solutions, and get more active politically on stopping these incidents from occurring. even though this was a spur of the moment type thing.
As people were seen running for their lives. Police are still looking for at least one suspect. It's unclear what led to that shooting, but we are monitoring this story all morning long. And if any new developments do come into the newsroom, we'll pass them right along.
Are following breaking news out of Sacramento.
That's right. That's where there's bloodshed in the downtown area.
KCO9's Tina Ezzedine is live in the newsroom to tell us more about a mass shooting. Tina.
Amy, police say 6 people are dead and at least 9 others are injured after a shooting in downtown Sacramento. The Sacramento Police Department says the shooting happened early this morning. Now, there are reports of people running through the street as the sound of rapid gunfire could be heard in the background. Video now also shows multiple ambulances have been sent to the scene, and police have provided very few details about the circumstances surrounding the shooting, but said that a large police presence will remain on the scene and that the scene remains active. Quote, information now also coming in that the shooting is near 10th and K in downtown Sacramento, and residents are being asked to avoid the area, which we understand is packed with restaurants and bars. That also leads to the Golden One Center. Now, that's where the Sacramento Kings play basketball.
Wow. Wow. So right outside the Kings Stadium. That's crazy.
Video posted on social media also shows people running through the street as the sound of rapid gunfire could be heard in the background. Video also shows multiple ambulances have been sent to the scene. Police now providing very few details about the circumstances surrounding the shooting, but we will definitely continue to remain on the story and keep you updated with further developments. Again, residents are being asked to avoid the area, and we understand right now from Sacramento police that 6 people are dead and at least 9 others are injured after a shooting this morning in downtown Sacramento. Reporting live from the newsroom, I'm Tina Ezzedine. Back to you.
All right, Tina, of course, we'll continue to follow the very latest on the situation as it continues to unfold.
An interview with Stevante Clark, the brother of Stevante Clark.
Damn, she cold.
Who lost his life to police violence. And so we talked about what it's like right now in the community, hearing from people who have lost their lives with this horrible tragedy.
Hold on, did she say police violence? What?
His life to police violence. And
why would you interview somebody who was killed by police? And then also you have to ask the question, was Buddy resisting arrest? Like, what happened? Oh, he was killed by police violence. Bruh, come on. Come on. There's a high likelihood that his brother was a super gremlin on demon time.
And so we talked about what it's like right now in the community, hearing from people who have lost their lives with this horrible tragedy. He actually told me the name of one of the victims, but we're working to confirm. The family has publicly said that that person is no longer alive following this horrible tragedy. So here is a portion of our interview. Again, this is Stevante Clark.
Well, I was home when I got the message that this happened. I got numerous phone calls, text messages, social media, people hitting me all over. And my heart was breaking because I was planning on going out to the same club, London, where it was at. And my heart breaks because I was there yesterday with one of the victims. And so my heart breaks for the families and all those that have been impacted by this senseless tragedy. We also, the Clark family is planning a peace gathering at the same site. And I'll send you the details for that coming soon, because this has to stop.
Okay. So he says it has to stop. It sounds like he not saying he knows the identity of who lit the area up, but he's familiar with the vibes. He's familiar with the way the club moves and operates and all that kind of good stuff. So he knows that this was not no police violence, right? Which I don't know why she even said that. It's totally irrelevant to this situation. He knows it wasn't no white supremacists who went to the club and sprayed the block up. He understands that. And that's why he's talking about the peace gathering and this needs to stop. And they're going to do like balloon releases for each person who was killed and shot and whatnot. I mean, is this where we at in the community?
And we're committed to bringing actionable items to preventing this from happening again through the life and legacy of my dear brother, Stevante Clark. For me, people don't understand, I lost 2 brothers, one to police violence and another to gun violence.
Okay, so he says he lost 2 brothers, one to police violence and one to gun violence. I'm going to be looking up the situation that he's talking about. We got Stevante Clark. Let's see. So he was killed by 2 officers in Sacramento in the backyard of his grandmother's house while he had his phone in his hand. Okay. So this was in 2018. Definitely got to look into it more. I mean, because basically it looks like he might have been fleeing from the police and then he pulled out his phone. They thought it was a gun type situation. So it's crazy.
So I understand community violence. So I understand where this comes from. When you lose somebody, you feel like you don't have the emotional or the financial support. You're trying to make sense of these things. And now it's becoming a media thing as well. A lot of media are catching up.
Okay, and in 2019, it was concluded that the police officers were not charged. They were deemed justified in their actions because they had probable cause to stop Mr. Stevante Clark and were legally justified in the use of deadly force. Okay, so very interesting story. Let's see. So the police were they were called because of a domestic dispute. Let's see. I'm doing just like some off the or what is the term that I'm looking for? I don't know. Random research. It says on March 16th, a neighbor called the police to report on behalf of Selena Muhammad Mani, the mother of Clark's child, to report that the 2 had been arguing and the argument had turned violent. So he was putting hands on his wife or his girl, on his baby mama. When police arrived at the apartment, Clark was not present, but officers found Mani with extensive injuries to her face and a hole in the wall of the apartment. Clark, on probation from 2 domestic violence convictions and 1 conviction of assault with a deadly weapon, evaded police in the days leading up to the shooting. Okay. So his brother was absolutely not innocent. Unfortunately, he was killed by the police, but at the same time, I'm not justifying the fact that he was killed by the police, but I don't know what results you think you're going to get when you putting hands on a woman, resisting arrest, fleeing from police, and doing all the above, okay?
On this. So my thing is, I know what it feels like to not be heard. And I know a lot of these families just wants to figure out what the hell is going on. There's so many reports, unconfirmed reports that are going out there, so many stories. 10 people shot, 8 people dead, 20 people altogether shot. So there's just so many stories going on that nobody knows what's what. So we're waiting till all the reports come in. And for me personally, the way I'm able to fight for these families and people been affected is because I've been affected by senseless gun violence.
And again, Stevante Clark talking about a peace gathering that the I Am SAC Foundation is going to be having outside of the London bar. That is where he says this all transpired. Again, right around the early morning hours after people were out and about around K Street and 10th Streets all night long in Sacramento. So again, a lot of unconfirmed reports. If you are on Twitter or Facebook, make sure to stay with ABC 10 for your local updates, of course, on this mass shooting as we are learning more information from community members as well as the mayor of Sacramento. We do just have a tweet from Mayor Steinberg this morning. He says, "Words can't express my shock and sadness this morning. The numbers of dead and wounded are difficult to comprehend. We await more information about exactly what happened and transpired in this tragic incident. Rising gun violence is the scourge of our city, state, and nation, and I support all actions to reduce it." Our new police chief, Kathy Lester, who we just heard from, has made it a top priority, and I stand firmly behind her. This is Mayor Steinberg just tweeting this morning as he is waking up learning about this mass shooting that happened in his city. Again, this is a developing situation. There's a lot of information online that you may be seeing that's unconfirmed, so stay with ABC 10 for those updates on air and online.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place.
And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News.
Okay, so you're looking down K Street towards the Crest Theater, where we've heard some of this had happened. At least one of the victims was located in that area, and we're joined here with Barry Axius, a local community activist. So Barry, tell me, when did you get here, and what did you see when you got here?
Around 2:30, 2:45. The first scene that I saw, one of the victims, blood all over her, screaming that she lost her sister. Just a mother running up, trying to find out if her son was one of the victims. And then listening to some of the, witnesses talking about the story, and knowing that when the mother was saying her son, as she was describing him to me, knowing that her son was one of the victims.
My thing is, now I kind of am 100% confident that it was a super gremlin, because they haven't interviewed any gliders. All the people that they're interviewing are brothers. So I think the brothers know that, hey man, we gonna take this one. We, what I'm saying, like, we gotta speak against this one, because we already know who did it. So let's get ahead of the story. Oh, man. Why, bruh? And my thing is, I was in the club last night. It was a good vibe. Nothing happened. No fights broke out. But let's see. I was in the club Friday and a fight broke out. But it was like it was more of a college vibe. The club I went to yesterday was like more of like a grown hood, hella hood vibe. It was like a strip club type thing. And I was there to watch my sister perform, because she's a rapper. So, which they was doing some shady stuff. I'm just gonna say a lot of these clubs got bad business. That's all I'm gonna say. But the Super Gremlin clubs, it's a lot of bad business going on. I ain't gonna lie. But anyways, it seems like they're interviewing all the brothers because they kind of have a grasp on who actually did this, which totally knocks out of the water the narrative of mass shootings being predominantly a glider thing. Okay, we see too many instances where even there. Remember that shooting in Miami at the Rappers' little concert last year. The Super Gremlin shot up the damn club, and they killed, I think, 3 or 4 people, including a woman. So it's tough out here, bruh. Can't go nowhere.
Just tragic on all kind of ends. Don't know really too much what you can really say in this moment. When I got here at first, I thought it was just 3 dead, a few injured. As you kept on being around and kept on having conversation with people, the number told just kept on going up, and now it's 6 dead. Just something that you never want to wake up to, especially doing this kind of work. There's so many different isolated situations, and something like this is just mind-boggling. Another cowardly act, a senseless act of violence that shouldn't have happened.
At least he didn't say senseless gun violence, okay?
So how did you first learn of this?
I just, information leaks, came down and talked to one of the council members as I was driving down here. And as soon as I got here, got into action, just trying to give some calm to the families and just try to, help them as much as I can. But you really can't help anybody in a moment like this. Try to get some medical attention for some of the individuals that were hurt. But, even the medics were so, in their moment dealing with their stuff that they had to drive themselves to the hospital. And just remembering just one of the victims coming and running and still having her car in drive, and saying she held her sister for the last time.
Damn. And I know that scene was tragic. You think you're going out on a night on the town, about to have fun. Then the super gremlins show out. They get to hooking. It's up from there, as these people like to use the term. It's up in the community. So it was up, and they lit it up. They got automatic I don't know if they got automatic weapons in the club or they got outside, went back to the whip, and then brought them out. Like, oh man, like the fact that these super gremlins just got these straps waiting in the car and they ready to just go back and air it out over a bar fight is spooky, man. Continue to tell you, these super gremlins are on demon time.
And just listening to that, and just her calm, and then finally her breakdown, it just was like, it was heartbreaking, because how do you comfort something like that? And you know, here we are again, right? A month after 5 people dying, we're here again with 6, and maybe the toll will even be more. And you just have to ask our city officials, what are we going to do about this gun violence?
Come on, there he goes. And now he starts saying the gun violence, bruh. Stop it with the gun violence narrative. Stop it. The only one you need to be looking at are these super gremlins on demon time.
The gun violence that organizations like myself have continued to say there's an issue, have continued to say that would spread outside of these so-called poverty-stricken communities that you lack the investment of.
So listen to what he's saying. So we've been hearing that, the gun violence is a proximity thing. You know, people who are near each other shoot each other. People who are near each other kill each other. People who look alike kill each other. Okay, cool. We can say that all we want, but at the end of the day, it doesn't change the fact that, you know, you can take the super gremlin out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the super gremlin. I know that's a common phrase, but it's true to some extent, okay? Not for every case, but it's true to some extent. The fact that you got a dude and he's on demon time and he's pulling up to the club waiting, like he's on that I wish a motherfucker would, you know what I mean? Like I wish somebody would, so that I can make the excuse or rationalize the excuse in my head to air the club out. That's the mentality. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if we continue to just gloss over this and remove the onus from the actual super gremlin and keep saying, oh, gun violence, like I said, I got 3 straps behind me. They ain't did nothing wrong. You know what I mean? They ain't did nothing to nobody. But I'm a legal firearm owner. And I understand that, hey, with great power comes great responsibility. So I would never put myself in a situation where I would let my emotions get the best of me and endanger somebody else's life unless it was in protection of my own. But you see, these super gremlins don't have that mindset. They think it's toys. That's why when you see them in the rap music videos, they over here like doing like this and playing with the gun and pointing it in the camera and all that kind of stuff. You can tell that they think they think that it's a toy. They think it's a game. And now I'm getting reports out of Dallas, 11 people shot, 1 fatal at a concert. And I mean, guys, I'm about to go straight to that story now after this one. So that's 2 mass shootings in one night by super gremlins in 2 different locations. I'm telling you, these super gremlins are on demon time.
That it would come into these areas that you've invested in. And here we are. We're here in this moment. And here in this moment that I hope would really challenge the city to do something about the illegal guns in our communities. The illegal guns that are now victimizing people that are just here having a good time. You know, you don't.
And I don't like the way they say, oh, illegal guns, because sometimes the guns aren't illegal, right? Sometimes the only thing that makes the gun illegal is if it's in possession of a person who is not legally able to possess that firearm. That's the only thing that makes the gun illegal. So it's not so much the fact that the gun is illegal. It's the fact that the person wielding it is a fugitive, okay? Or convicted felon, all right? Or a super gremlin on demon time.
Don't expect something like this to happen. And you don't want something like this to happen anywhere, but now it's here, right here downtown. And like, what are we going to do about this? Are we just going to have another moment that is a national attention? Or
I know what they're going to do about it. Number one, memorial for the people who passed. Number two, balloon release. Number three, a peace gathering, like the brother said in the previous video. Peace gathering, a call to stop the violence. Number four, continue to go back to the status quo.
are we going to really do something to prevent these kind of issues? And this has been a long-term fight. And I hope that they finally see what we were saying has come to light, unfortunately, but it's something that we could have prevented.
And in talking to these witnesses, were you able to get any information on what may have happened leading up to this shooting?
You know, me assessing it, you don't know what people have going on in their lives. I just know that
no matter what you have going on in your life, it doesn't justify the fact that you pull up and shoot 16 people, killing 6. Come on, bruh. You don't know what people are going through in their lives. Bruh, are you really trying to give the shooter the benefit of the doubt? This is why I can't stand these community activists. What about the freaking victims? What about what's going on in their lives right now? Because of these super gremlins on demon time.
Basically, from my knowledge of just seeing what it is, this wasn't something that was random to me. You know, it definitely wasn't a random situation.
Okay, so now that's BS. He says it wasn't random, but apparently this struck out from a bar fight. A fight in the club progressed outside. Super gremlins aired the block out. Sounds pretty random to me.
But no one deserves anything like this at the same particular time, you know? No one deserves this kind of outcome, right? There wasn't a fight that, you know, there's rumors that there was a fight that preceded. The fight had nothing to do with this actual tragedy.
And how does he know that? How does he know that? See, I don't know. I wasn't there, but it seems like he is really, I don't know what he's doing, but he's talking around it instead of addressing it head on. The fight had nothing to do with it. Come on, bruh. We know when fights break out, the super gremlins go to their trunk, grab the straps, and come back and air the block out. Unless they came to the club, saw the people that they were trying to get at, waited for them to come out the club, and then just sprayed up the entrance. Either way, it's pretty freaking random.
That was just a precursor. That was something totally separate. Here's what we're dealing with, that 6 people are dead because some coward or cowards decided to take whatever kind of beef or revenge or issue they had with whatever kind of person or persons and make it a situation that is now affecting more than just the people that they killed. And my heart goes out to the families, the victims that had to see this trauma, because after this becomes this news story for us, it's something that they have to live for in a lifetime. And again, we have to ask ourselves in our community, what are we going to do about it? And I hope that after this, we just don't start, because what usually happens, we start picking who we're going to target, because we see.
You hear him. He knows for a fact. He knows for a fact. At this point, he knows it was super gremlins who did this. Well, now I don't want the police to start picking who you're going to target. I don't want them to start profiling. God, these dudes are just, like, no type of awareness. He just wants to displace blame from the super gremlins who do this. Well, don't just start disproportionately targeting super gremlins because Okay, we get that, bruh. We get it. We understand what type of time you're on. We understand that what you want to say. You're not going to bring forth solutions. We get that. You don't care about the victims. You care about the suspects and what they were going through that made them do this. We get it, bro.
Thing that they have to live for in a lifetime. And again, we have to ask ourselves in our community, what are we going to do about it? And I hope that after this, we just don't start, because what usually happens, we start picking who we're going to target, because we see certain groups or certain individuals or certain demographics coming to downtown, and now we're going to say no.
No, it's not that, oh, we see certain groups, certain demographics come downtown, and now we're just going to pick them out. No, it's because the people who are doing this are of a certain demographic. Unfortunately, the few spoil it for the many. That's what we're seeing in the community over and over again. All right, so if you are an upstanding citizen, you ain't got nothing to worry about. You don't. What may happen though is bars might start implementing dress codes. No Jordans. No sagging your pants. No graphic t-shirts. They may go that no bandanas. I know everybody in Sacramento and folks in Cali like rocking the bandanas to the club. Don't lie. So they might start picking things that are going to weed out these situations from happening. And that's all they can do. Okay? Because they can't blatantly say, you know what? We ain't letting the hood super gremlins in. So what they have to do is implement dress codes and codes of conduct and whatnot. So this brother is like, he's trying to fight for, oh, well, we don't need to start racially profiling all the people who come to the club and stuff like that. And bro, we already know that that's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. At this point in 2022, bro, you're not... You're getting in the club, like, you're not getting denied just based off of the fact that, oh, it's a brother, so we not letting him in. So that's not even happening, bruh. It's not happening. So now he wants to go and say, well, I don't want this situation to affect the brothers in the future, brothers and sisters in the future from getting in the club. And I get that. I really do understand it. But if we don't hold our own accountable, if we don't condemn this type of behavior, if we keep trying to cape for the super gremlins instead of the victims, then we're going to continue to find ourselves in a position where we're begging the establishment or the city of Sacramento or whatever, whoever, it doesn't matter where you are. We're begging these people, oh, well, don't look at us all like this. Because we have not cleaned house in our own community.
Certain individuals or certain demographics coming to downtown, and now we're going to say, no, we don't want those people there. This can't be that moment. This cannot be that moment. We have to be focused and targeted on what's happening. And what's happening is there's gun violence that is...
Gun violence. See, this is where... This is why he has no credence when it comes to being a community activist. This is why... Bro... Stop blaming a freaking inanimate object. The gun cannot do anything without the sun. The gun, literally, I could have a gun and place it on my front porch. If nobody comes and touches that gun will accumulate 0 bodies. It doesn't matter the weapon. Like anybody could, if he had beef in the club and waited till people come out the club, he could have ran a truck into the damn the club like we seen in Kenosha. Dudes could have been stabbing folks. Dudes could have got stabbed up, like we see with the rapper who was stabbed up, Draco the Ruler or whatever his name is. So stop blaming the weapon and start blaming the super gremlin on demon time.
Spread throughout our city. This is a citywide issue with gun violence.
Thank you very much for joining us. That's Barry Axius, a local community activist.
All right, guys. So I am on Club London's Instagram. And this, I'm just showing you the vibe of the club. Okay. Looks like a pretty lit club. Looks like it's a vibe. Obviously, beautiful women there. DJs, whatnot. So it looks like it's a, you know, it's a dope vibe. Dope venue. Unfortunately, the Super Gremlins pulled up and ruined the vibe. Shot the club up. I see a lot of beautiful sisters at Club London. So if you're in Sacramento and when all this stuff dies down, you might be able to find you a sister in Club London. Okay. Got some busty sisters in the building. Obviously, booty shaking. Girls dancing on girls, which kind of annoys me in the clubs. But anyways, that's the type of life we live in. You know, we got some brothers in there dancing, jigging, jugging, whatever you want to call it. So it looks like it's a vibe. And unfortunately, the Super Gremlins end up showing up that night. Maybe they were a cause of the fight. Maybe they weren't. The community activist says that, oh, it had nothing to do with it. But I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.